Joseph Hine. Understandably, this case is of great significance to the community, and this public announcement demonstrates my commitment to transparency and decision-making. It is my role as county attorney to review the circumstances surrounding critical incidents involving first responders. Some examples of incidents include an officer-involved shooting, death that occurs while a person is being arrested or in custody, or an incident such as a traffic collision where serious physical injury or death occurs. When these situations arise, it is the responsibility of this office to review and analyze the facts and evidence as submitted to us by law enforcement. We review the facts as an independent charging agency to ensure that the due process rights of a potential criminal defendant or a potential victim are protected. Let me be very clear. The decision today by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office is to determine if criminal charges should be filed in the shooting death of Antonio Arce. Our decision in this matter has nothing to do with whether or not there is civil liability in this case. Our decision does not pass judgment on whether departmental policies and procedures were followed in this matter. Those matters are left to civil courts and municipal administrative bodies. Again, our review and findings in this case are limited to criminal charges and the likelihood of conviction at trial should charges be filed. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge the loss of life in this case. To Antonio's family, I am deeply sorry for your loss. We do not rush to judgment in review of these cases.
They're not going to charge him.
The process undertaken by this office in reviewing this matter was extensive. And over the last several months, numerous investigators, prosecutors, and other staff reviewed transcripts, body-worn camera footage, examined photos, and other pieces of evidence. Every single person who played a role in this did so professionally and with great care. It is my understanding that the Tempe Police Department has released the majority of the evidence in this matter, including the body-worn camera footage, so many of you have seen what we reviewed. As county attorney, I also decided to seek an expert analysis of the evidence. I wanted a review that was independent from the Tempe police investigation that would provide an opinion from an impartial third party. This report, authored by James Borden, was submitted to us on December 31st, 2019. This was another piece of information that helped guide my decision in this case, and you will be provided a copy of that report. The key to our decision-making is whether or not we can prove a crime was committed and if we think a jury would convict based on that evidence and the law. Two U.S. Supreme Court cases are especially relevant when analyzing use of force incidents. Tennessee versus Gardner says, and I'm going to read this verbatim, where the officer has probable cause to believe that the suspect poses a threat of serious physical harm, either to the officers or to others, it is not constitutionally unreasonable to prevent escape by using deadly force. The 1989 decision in Graham versus Connor outlines a three-pronged test when determining reasonableness of lethal force. The direction from the court in that case is embedded in police officer training nationwide. It provides guidance to police agencies on whether lethal force is reasonable based on three factors. First, the severity of the crime at issue. Second, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat to the safety of the officer or others. Third, whether the suspect is actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest by flight. Our own state statutes
Still doesn't give you
say
the
that
right to
police
shoot.
officers are justified in using deadly force when the officer reasonably believes that it is necessary to defend him or herself or a third person from imminent danger. Based on the facts and the evidence in this case, Officer Hine believed that he was in imminent danger. Officer Hine believed that those in the immediate area were in imminent danger, and that Officer Hine believed he had no other choice but to fire his weapon to protect himself and the community.
Wow.
In a court of law, the state must prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. In order to even file charges, attorney ethical responsibilities are that prosecutors must believe that there is a reasonable likelihood of conviction at trial. The events of January 15th, 2019 forever changed the lives of many. And this situation is absolutely heartbreaking. But that day, Officer Hine did not see a 14-year-old boy with a replica. In that moment, he saw a suspect running through a neighborhood with a weapon. In those few split seconds, Officer Hine believed that someone was fleeing the scene of a crime, that they were in possession of a handgun and holding it in a manner where the weapon could be easily discharged. Combined with the fact that Antonio was about to turn a corner in a neighborhood, Officer Hine would have no longer had Antonio in his sights, and Officer Hine would have no way to protect the innocent residents in their homes that day. Therefore, I do not believe the evidence in this case supports a likelihood of conviction at trial, and this office will not be filing criminal charges in this matter. And with that, I will now take a few questions.
What do you say to members of the public who say that you can't charge an officer caught on video shooting?
Well, y'all heard the decision.
What I would say to the community is that this office has filed charges on.
Y'all heard. They're not gonna file charges for the bullshit fact that Tennessee versus Gardner allows an officer to shoot a fleeing suspect that they believe is going to be an imminent danger to the community around them. I've watched this body cam footage video plenty times. I watched this body cam footage plenty of times
When we
to
watched
know
the body
that
cam videos, it was clear that that was a fluid and dynamic situation, that the officer had just a few seconds to make a decision on what to do to protect people. And you have to remember, when you see body-worn camera, it's just from that angle. It's just a snapshot. It's what we see at the time and not what we learn from an investigation afterwards.
What about the fact that life-saving aid was not rendered for a full 7 minutes? Is there anything criminal about that?
Officers have to protect themselves as well. In this case, they saw a weapon on Antonio. And when Antonio fell, he would not show his hands. Officers needed to protect their safety, and the weapon was still within his reach that they knew of. They followed their training and procedures.
Did the officers see the teen actually at any point turn around and point the gun in his direction? And how could you tell from that distance that his finger was on the trigger?
Officer Hine testified that Antonio's finger was on the trigger and that the way he was moving, his hand was going back and forth, and it was in his right hand, to where he could have easily fired a shot at Officer Hine. But there was also 2 witnesses who said they saw Antonio's finger on the trigger.
it's bullshit because I never even saw any of those claims in the police report.
Maybe talk about that aspect as well. It's supposed to denote this is a toy, not a real weapon.
The facts as were known at the time was that this is a weapon. Officers can't treat things as if maybe it's a toy or maybe it's not, especially when the safety of themselves and others in the community are in danger. It was only after the fact that the unfortunate information came to light that it was a replica.
Are you worried that the fact that so few
Rosie.
criminal cases are filed against police officers in Maricopa County that might create that this decision might reinforce this perception of them as a cop?
Well, we take every case by case basis and look at the facts. This office has filed charges against police officers in the past. And when an officer commits a crime, he will be held accountable.
Yeah, so y'all
Thank you.
be prepared. I'm going to be holding a press conference outside of the Tempe Police Department. Man, I could tell you right now that this community is not going to rest. This community will be heard. You know, the city of Tempe has blood on their hands. The city of Tempe Police Department has blood on their hands. They allowed this officer to shoot a 14-year-old kid that was running over 200 feet away, shot him in the back twice. But yet this damn man, this attorney is retarded and based everything off of Tennessee versus Gardner. Failed to make it known that Officer Hine thought that Antonio was a 40-year-old man at the time. There's just so much shit. If you guys want the police report, email me at tempeagainstpoliceviolence@gmail.com. I'll be able to send you the full 173-page police report for you to review and you go over. What's up, Cher? Because I've gone over it. I've gone over the body cam footage almost 100 times. And that's not exaggerating, you know. We will be gathering outside Tempe Police Department for a press conference. I got to get some people together. I planned for it today. I should be going over there right now, but got setting up with Mark Phillips from ABC 15 because he wants to interview me. I need to be able to get other members of the community that organize around Antonio Arce to get together so we could, we need to be able to get everyone out there so we can make it known that this officer deserves murder charges. Like, I'm hurt, you know? But I need to answer this call, y'all. I'll talk to you later.